You may have noticed in the past year and a bit, we have been getting a lot of Mario games. Not only that, Nintendo has been listening to our feedback and it shows. It all started in the June 2023 Direct when out of nowhere, a year that most assumed would be quiet after Tears of the Kingdom because that was, well, supposedly the last major game for the Switch, we got Super Mario RPG Remake and Super Mario Bros. Wonder announced, along with many other games. I know they meant in terms of sales it'd be the last major game, but if you don't think Wonder is a major seller, I don't know what to tell you. We've seen Nintendo breathe new life into the 2D games, the RPGs, and seemingly now the Mario Party series, by either bringing back series we thought were completely dead or listening to our criticisms. The only spin-offs that are left now to get this new treatment are the Mario sports games. So let's go through how all of the different series were revived and what the future holds. But firstly, it would mean the world to me if you could subscribe. If you love Nintendo content, this is the right place for you. And a big thank you for all of the recent love and support in helping me reach 2,000 subscribers. I truly appreciate it. Starting with the 2D Mario games, we hadn't had a new entry since the Wii U if we don't count the Mario Maker games, as they are kind of their own separate thing. I don't hate the new Super Mario Bros. Series. I loved the original on the DS and the Wii version was awesome too, playing it on the big screen, but by the time the other two came out, it just felt a bit repetitive, especially because it was in such a short period of time. If you played all four of these on release day, they all felt too similar and we definitely needed a change. Going back and playing these games for what they are individually since we have gotten Wonder is a different story, and these games were not bad. I want to make that abundantly clear. I don't think most of the games mentioned in this video are bad. Apart from you were pretty bad. Most Mario games aren't bad. It just felt like for a while they played things very safe on purpose and it became very stale and bland. The new Super Mario Bros. Games were kind of the poster child for this new safe era of Mario, but then they flipped everything on its head and gave us Wonder, and it was incredible. The difference in animations compared to the past entries are insane. The levels all feel unique and are so crazy and wacky. The new power-ups, the art style, the badges, everything. I loved this game from start to finish and hope they continue to innovate going forward and don't just make 3 more copies of Wonder with very minimal changes, because then it would just ruin the magic of the game. Moving on to the RPGs, Mario and Luigi was seemingly dead since Alpha Dream had closed. The Paper Mario games, while they weren't bad, from the little I played of Origami King, I did enjoy it, but fans really wanted the old formula to return. So we got a remake of the beloved original Mario RPG that nobody expected, and it was absolutely amazing. Then we also got a remake of the Thousand Year Door, probably the most loved Paper Mario game ever, and it was a nice return to form. Then to make things even crazier, Mario and Luigi is revived with a brand new entry which looks glorious and releases later this year. The 3 major RPG series all coming back basically in the space of a year is wild. And they have released numerous surveys asking us for feedback, asking us what we want from the RPGs, so it is clear they are listening and it makes me excited for the future. Before we move on to these sports games, let's just quickly talk about Mario Party. For a while I wasn't really enjoying these games, to be honest. I wasn't a fan of the whole sharing the same car thing, the boards weren't the best, and they overall lacked content. Super Mario Party was a nice return to the more classic style, but it still had its issues. Then Superstar was so close, it was almost perfect but just needed some more content, like a bigger roster and more boards. But Jamboree seems to fix all of these issues. Not only does it have 7 boards this time, that we know of at least, the most mini games from a Mario Party game, it also has the biggest roster and probably has more unannounced characters too. Watch my video above for more on that. And they are going out of their way to call this the biggest Mario Party yet, and it shows. The new modes look great, online looks fun. This really could be a turning point for this series. I don't want to jinx it because obviously it isn't out yet, but it does seem like they are listening, and with every game they seem to be improving bit by bit. ND Cube, I believe in you. No pressure. If this goes wrong, I know where you live. So we've covered the 2D games, the RPGs, Mario Party, and to be honest, the 3D games and Mario Kart have always just been pretty consistent in my opinion. So what's left? The Mario sports games. If we focus on the Switch alone, because yeah, I'm not talking about that. Some of these titles have been pretty solid. I enjoyed Aces. At launch, it did lack some content. Super Rush again is decent, but lacked more content. And Battle League League just needed a boatload of more content. It was ridiculous the state it was in at launch. The roster could have been so much more, the pitches were all just the same. Yeah, the core gameplay, however, for all of these games is pretty fun. Like the mechanics in Aces, for example, are so wacky and fun and are probably my favorite out of every Mario Tennis game. So for the next Mario Sports game, it should be pretty simple. More content at launch. If you want to update it over time, that is fine, as long as it doesn't feel like this is content that should have been in the game from the very beginning. Again, launch it with plenty of content to keep us entertained, and then over time, if you go, hey, here's a new character, or courts, or something for free, see you later, that would be completely fine. What do I think the next game will actually be? I'm leaning more towards baseball or hoops, as it has been a while since the previous games, but a sports compilation is also possible. I don't mind this as long as it's not as bad as the last one. 2025 does feel like a good time to get this new game, maybe just before the next console releases, as we have seen them do this before, and I hope baseball or hoops gets a new game before the next tennis or golf game inevitably releases on the Switch too. I am confident with how they have listened with all of the other Mario games, they will do the same here too. We just need more characters, more courses, pitches, courts depending on the sport, more modes, and that is it. Just more content. We really are in a new era of Mario. I can feel it. I don't know what it was, if it was just the movie or Nintendo had enough of us whining, but I'm all here for it. So next, let's nag them for a Mario Teacher's Typing free.
Sunrise.